Me word friends, and
Hi.
here we are for another mystical moment today with my pal here, Dustin, and it's going to be fun. We're going to talk today, and we're going to talk about the self-care tools, things that you can do, things that we can do, things that we all can do for self-care, and then we're going to talk also a little bit about grounding. And we can never emphasize this enough.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep, absolutely.
And so, we're just going to sort of read through these things. I did some printouts that I found some more information online. It's really stuff that we could sit and ponder ourselves, but this will help keep us rolling and keep you giving that feed to you that you need to start your day today or end it, whatever's going on. Okay, so here we go. So the first thing that is on the list is, go ahead.
All right, so the first thing is do you. And what that is just do one thing daily that truly makes you happy. You know, I think a lot of times we go through the days and we just kind of get in this cycle of waking up, maybe going to work for somebody else, doing all of these things for other people, and we don't take any time or set any time aside to just be with ourselves, whether that's 5 minutes, whether that's an hour. You know, that time is so crucial because we really get the reviving in that time. We really get the a chance for us to relax our minds in that time. And it's just so crucial for not only your biochemistry but also your emotional well-being, as far, you know, and your mental well-being as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you look around, you can see people, we live at such a fast pace that don't take a moment for themselves.
Right.
You know, so it's very powerful. So our first tool that we're taking out of the tool chest is to do something for you today. Take a moment for yourself. Okay, that's what's number 2.
All right, disconnect.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, this is one that I have to practice as well because, you know, working 2 or 3 jobs and starting a business and wanting that to keep that forward momentum. Sometimes I have a little bit of a challenge disconnecting from things, and so it's really important because, you know, what we focus on is what we become. And so if we are constantly on social media, if we are constantly on our phones, if we're constantly on our computers, we're not really giving our minds a chance to relax, and it's a, you know, moment to moment kind of focus. So disconnecting allows us to create that environment where we can just be with ourselves and kind of gain a little bit of control of that mental focus. Mm-hmm. And it really can give you a greater sense of purpose too when you're able to kind of quiet that mind a little bit and take control of what you're focusing on. So it's amazing to disconnect, to get in that habit, and you know, it doesn't have to be a long time, even if you start with just 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. I like that. It says no text, no social media, no news. It's very powerful to shut all that out for a while and just disconnect. That's good. Very good. Yes. Okay, number 3.
All right, you go ahead and read it.
Give yourself credit. Praise yourself. Praise yourself. Thank yourself. Okay. Congratulate yourself for something awesome that you do. Okay? So that's really positive, very powerful, very connected for you to also remember to give yourself credit. Give yourself a little tap on the back. Hey, it's good. I'm doing good. You know, it's not... We have such an idea of perfection in this country, and even in our own selves as women, just this idea of we've got to be this way, and we're all, you know, I can bring home the bacon, and I can fry it up in a pan, and all this stuff. And it's like, and you need to just give yourself credit and not put so much stress on yourself.
Absolutely. Well, and the idea of perfection is a road to suffering because there is no such thing as perfection.
Yes.
We can always strive to be better. We can strive to be better. You know, my rule of thumb is to strive to be better than I was yesterday. It's a measurable thing for me because I need to see improvement. But if I can be better than yesterday, then I know that I'm on, you know, the right path. I'm on, you know, I'm following my purpose. So perfection leads us to a very limited, I guess, a limited way of thinking because it's like a pass or fail.
Yes.
Whereas if you just do better than you were yesterday, that could open up possibilities in your life. That can open up different areas in your life. So it just kind of expands that perception a little bit and gets you out of that feeling like you have to be perfect to get anything everything done, because that just won't happen.
That's true. Okay, take a nap. Napping is wonderful way to recharge. Yeah, that is like awesome way to stop the negative flow, stop things in their path that's going on in your life that you just can't handle no more. Take a nap. Shut it down, because when you get up, you're going to get up without all that resistance that you went to sleep with.
Yeah.
So that's a really powerful, even a little 10-minute, 30-minute, I do it sometimes. I need to just stop.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm shutting this off. Turn the TV off, turn it all off, and just take a nap. That's a really great tool.
Absolutely.
Yep. Think less and love more. Ooh, that's very good. I like that. Stop overthinking.
Yeah, and this is, as a personal development coach, I have termed women's brains as the crazy brain, because we tend to go to places that we just make up.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And we tell ourselves stories, and we're hardest on ourselves, and not that men aren't. I can relate more with the women's brain and how that kind of functions. And I think a lot of the times it's just because we've practiced so much thinking.
Yeah.
And you can think yourself in circles. Overthinking. And what is, our brains will come up with a story, whether it's true or not. So, one of the things that I started to, when I wanted to really start controlling my focus and start controlling where my mind went, because your mind leads to your emotions. Your mind can convince your nervous system to feel. And when we're in worry, when we're in fear, again, when we're in that judgment of needing to be perfect, our brains can get out of control. And in turn, that affects our nervous system, that affects our health, that affects our mood, our attitudes. So one of the things that I started with is there is I learned it in my positivity psychology class, and it's a Buddhist meditation, and it talks about 4 different things. And what you do is you just say prayers for other people, and it starts with, may you feel safe, may you feel strong, may you feel healthy, and may you live with ease. So it's just repetition of those 4 things, but that has, they've done a bunch of research on several different peoples at the University of North Carolina, and that decreases your vagal tone, which it's the beat between your heartbeats.
Oh, wow.
It's the time between your heartbeats.
Yeah.
It's the rest.
Okay.
It actually lowers blood pressure. So there's a lot of things that go on in your body, biochemistry, when you're meditating in that, and it is just a really good place to start. It stops that rumination of the brain. It does take practice, because if you're not used to it, you have to give yourself a little bit of room to be bad at something that you've never tried before, and learn from it. So that's one that if I'm feeling out of control, if my mind has kind of taken over, I always go back to that meditation. It takes 10 minutes, and I started out every day. That's what I start out with. So it also opens up your heart and allows that intention to go out to other people that you love and that you care for.
Perfect. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, so we're moving on here. Number 6 is, stop looking at what everyone else is doing and comparing yourself to others. It robs your appreciation for the sacred place that you're at. So that's really powerful. Stop looking around and say, oh, well, she's got better hair than me, and she's skinnier than me, and just look at that, she's got better, whatever, she's got a nice purse, whatever. Stop looking around and just focus on yourself. It's your journey. This is your sacred journey, and nobody else's. And so enjoy your sacred journey.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, you can do number 7.
All right. So number 7, it is what it is.
Oh, that's my favorite saying. I love that saying. I say it all the time. It is what it is. Because it's true. It is what it is. And you can't change it. That's what it is. You can't control everything. Control that'll drive you nuts, trying to control everything.
Yeah.
And, I know I have had that. I've battled my own issues with that thing. Trying to control everything, I just got to control it. And you can't control everything.
Well, and again, if you look at where you are in your life right now, and if there are things that you want to improve, or things that you want to make better, or you want to make better choices in whatever areas, this is a really good one, because we were just actually talking about letting things go and not living in the past, because so often we try and define ourselves with where we are right now, with things that have happened in the past, and we have absolutely no control over that. And we're trying to see our future with things that have happened in the past, and that's not an accurate picture either, because your future is something completely new, and it's not held to those same rules. But when we try to do that, we end up in this place, and we expend so much energy and so much time not actually being where we are right now, not actually taking any steps to practice anything. Instead, we're still trying to figure out that why of the past. We're still trying to figure out things that just don't apply anymore. So letting go and really looking at saying, okay, here's where I am today, here's where I would like to be in the future, what do I need to get there, instead of looking at the past and saying what got me here. It's just
and putting all that energy and focus on that.
Right. I mean, you can spend your whole life trying to
focusing
control
on
things.
that. Forget that idea.
And you can miss life trying to control everything,
and
which you absolutely have no control over.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah.
Number 8 is a big one. We've been talking about that before we got started today. And that is forgive yourself and forgive others. Very powerful. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful allies. Forgive the people in your life who harmed you. Forgive those in your, forgive yourself. That's powerful, and your own mistakes, and you will liberate yourself from pain and anger, resentment and negativity.
Absolutely.
Very, very powerful. We were talking about that a little while ago, so you can expound a little bit on that.
Well, it's not forgiving is a surefire way to suffer your entire life, because when we get real, it doesn't matter what race we are, it doesn't matter what our religion is, it doesn't matter what our body size is, it doesn't matter the things that we have in life. We're all human, and we are all going to make mistakes, and what we need to look at is, I may have a set of beliefs of right and wrong. Somebody else might have a set of beliefs of right and wrong, but you know what? We all make mistakes. Right. And so why are we holding on to this judgment to say what you did is worse than what I did, or what I've done I can't let go of because I was supposed to be perfect. I was supposed to know better. It's those judgments that really limit our lives. Yeah, it's those judgments that will hold us down. It's those judgments that will keep us from truly experiencing what self-love is, and connection with this world, and connection with this universe, and every other person in it. Because if we can just say, you know what, I'm human, I've made lots of mistakes, so is everybody else, and I'll start from here, so I will do better. And go from there and build on that. And it's a very humbling place when you look at all of the judgments that you have and decide to let them go. Right. We were talking about that, and it's like your heart opens. I mean, completely opens, and you experience this type of peace and type of love that you just can't even explain. And some people call that God, some people call that the divine.
Yes.
It is the most beautiful place in the world, and it comes from looking at your life, and it comes from saying, okay, I choose to forgive myself, and I'm laying this down right now, and meaning it. Meaning you don't ever have to think about it again. You don't ever have to hold yourself accountable to that, because it was something that you've learned from it and move forward. That's because right. You can, and I've had some experience with this week. You can spend your entire life suffering from this, choosing not to forgive, and you know what? Right. It may hurt other people with the impact and the ripple effect from it, but who's really hurting is yourself. Right. And you will be the one that did that to you.
Yep.
So it's something that's so important to learn.
Yep.
And again, it just takes practice. So, if you don't know what forgiveness is to yourself, if you don't know what that looks like to yourself, start with a 5-minute meditation. Start with just saying it out loud. Start something and just stay consistent with it and practice, because as you start to practice, your body will follow.
That's right.
And that's where you build a habit, and it's amazing when that starts opening up, and truly how you can look at somebody and immediately forgive them their faults, because you've looked at yourself and you've immediately forgiven yourself for your faults, and that where you stand, you just try to do better on a daily basis.
Yes, that's right. And I encourage you also to do what I would call some mirror work, where you sit and look in the mirror and say, I love you. I forgive you. I don't hold you responsible. And just keep saying that until you really can look in the mirror and say, you're a pretty cool person. I love you. You're a great person.
Well, and I think one thing too, and some of us still have a hard time with this. Some of us still really don't like ourselves.
Yeah.
And we try and avoid that as much as possible. Kind of a different strategy to get outside of that is really treating yourself like you would either treat your best friend or that your best friend would treat you, because we will go to the ends of the world for people that we love.
That's so true.
For other people, we will do it. So if you can imagine yourself sitting next to you outside of yourself as a separate entity, like somebody that you would treat as your best friend, or your best friend would treat you, it's a place to start, and it helps, because you will get that momentum of looking at it like it's outside of you. Because you will. I mean, who wouldn't do whatever it takes for someone that we truly love?
Right.
It doesn't matter who you are. If you truly love somebody, there's nothing you wouldn't do for them. So if you can look at it like that, really start giving that gift to yourself, because again, once you start befriending yourself, and once you start practicing self-love and practicing self-forgiveness, it's amazing the connection that can open up in your life. It's amazing how life just opens up with opportunity, opens up with the next steps, opens up with messages, opens up with the right people, the right books, the right things to get you to the next place. It's luck, it's grace, and it all starts with that self-forgiveness.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's good. Perfect. Okay, number 9. Stay away from negative people and don't be a negative person. Wow, that's a giant one. Gymongous one.
It's ginormous.
Ginormous one, yeah. Stay away. Let's talk just the first part. Stay away from negative people. That feeling when you come into a place where maybe certain people you're around are just draws on the energy. You feel like, you need to just leave. That's an easy way of just stay away. Protect your own self, and that's part of self-care. Protecting yourself from that. If you're around people that are draining you and you feel like they're just all they want to do is gripe and complain about life, there's nothing any good, you need to just sort of move out of that space and protect your sacred space, and don't be a negative person. You don't want to be a negative person, don't hang around negative people. Don't absorb all that energy, because next thing you know, like you said, you become what you surround yourself with.
Absolutely.
And there's an old saying, birds of a feather flock together. That's right. Here comes the birds. Well, if you've got all these birds hanging around you that are a bunch of chickens, take a look at yourself, okay? And you I want to rise with the eagles. I want to be up on, I want to really rise above things in my life. Well, if you're hanging out with chickens, are people that are just clucking around you and they're not saying anything any good. I
was going to say, you're going to start to cluck and shoot eggs out of your hands.
Yeah, that's right. You're going to start clucking, and you're going to start getting, that's what's going to happen for you. So that's number 9. Stay away from negative people and don't be a negative person.
Well, and again, it's, in this world that we live in, and especially with what's going on in the world, there are, one of the greatest things I've ever heard is stand guard at the door of your focus.
Oh, that's good.
Because, I love that one. Because if you're not controlling your focus, believe me, there are 10,000 other things that are.
Yes.
So that That can
That's
be
good.
the TV. That can be social media. That
Anything.
can be anything.
Yeah.
And people, unfortunately, people will compete for who has the worst story. People will compete for who feels the most pain.
That's
People
true.
have, because they're at a certain vibration, and believe me, they will do everything that they can so they can either feel significant from their story, or they can feel significant by pulling you down.
Exactly.
And it's not necessarily their fault. It's your fault if you stay.
Yes.
So, again, it's
Yeah.
becoming aware of where you're putting that focus. And I'm not saying, because all of us are going to experiencing what I call, I don't necessarily say positive or negative. I do say positive, but I guess to the point of negative, what I try and use is disempowering.
Oh, that's good. I like
Because
that.
it's
Yeah.
not that, again,
Yeah.
if you're like, don't do this, don't do that, you're putting a judgment on
Yes,
something.
right.
Whereas you can disempower yourself with living
Yeah.
in fear, and you can
Disempower.
disempower
I like
yourself
that.
by
That's really good.
by staying in those what we might have called negative emotions.
Right.
But those emotions actually serve a purpose. So if you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling bored, if you're feeling judgmental, if you're feeling, anxious or fearful, there's messages there that they're telling you, there's signals in your body.
Yeah.
So they're meant to be felt, they're meant to get through, and then learn the lesson, and move on and get the message from it. A lot of the times though, because just like our attention, anything that makes us uncomfortable, we run from.
Yes.
Anything that makes us uncomfortable, we try and medicate with. And unfortunately, it's in that being uncomfortable where we grow and where we can kind of transform. So it's not necessarily about never experiencing those feelings, it's just not staying there.
Yes.
Because you can turn something around and say, okay, I feel lonely, and loneliness is a big one for me. I feel lonely because I haven't seen anybody all day, or I haven't had a conversation with somebody, and really what that's saying to me is I need more human connection.
Right.
So that signal is go out, go talk to somebody,
Go find
go
some
meet
human
somebody,
connection.
go
Yeah.
make a friend, go do something, and
Yeah.
then the emotion is gone.
Yeah.
And then I'm on to a more empowering state. So
That's good.
that it's just another way that you can kind of a perspective shift that you can change to saying, okay, what empowering or what disempowering feeling am I feeling right now, and what can I do to learn from this and empower the situation, because we are all going to have, those are meant as signals, and those are used to help us grow in life. So we're all going to have and experience those. It's just what we do with them and how we can move through them.
That's good. That's awesome. And number 10 is just be wonderful, be happy, be you, because being you is enough.
Yeah.
It's huge. It takes it takes a lot of mental capacity, and it's very draining when we spend time trying to be anything other than who we are.
Yeah.
Isn't that good? That's
Yeah.
really good. Because we
Well,
need to be
and you can't
ourselves.
be anybody else but you.
That's right.
That's a lot of us try and kind of mask who we are or hide who we are, and
I
we
think
can't.
we learn.
Yeah.
We learn it from when we're very young. If we're not approved of for who we are, we start trying to change and think, well, I'll be somebody they will approve.
Yeah, if I was this, I would be better. If
Yeah.
I did this, I would be better. But the thing is that there is only one you.
That's right.
And you were given this beautiful thing called life, and it's got its ups and it's got its downs, and sometimes it's painful, sometimes it's graceful. I mean, there are so many beautiful things to this life, and each of us were given this gift. So, rock who you are, be who you are, do things that scare you, figure out what it is you really want and go for it.
Right.
Life is way too short to spend this life paying bills. Life is way too short to spend this life trying to gain money because we think that that's what's going to make us happy. Find out what it is, you being you. Find out what it is your purpose is.
What's your unique soul's journey.
Yeah, and what your passion is, and go for it. And rock whatever style that is, because I think on our last video we talked about being colors, and sometimes if you need a little boost in the morning, I know when I went through a lot of this change in my life, I went from wearing black and white to wearing colors. I never wore pink. Pink is my
Really?
favorite color now.
Oh,
I
awesome.
never liked pink. So
Awesome.
rock yourself with colors. You know, do something that is completely unique to you and smile. And then just go get it. You know, figure out what it is you really want. Be you and go get it.
Go
We
for
all
it,
have that
yes.
potential. You know what? And you're going to scrape your knees, get back up. You know, just keep going. And what doesn't work, try something that does. And if that doesn't work, try something else.
Yes.
You know, we've got so much opportunity, and this gift that we have, it's not meant to be wasted.
No, we cannot waste it. That's
Yeah.
right. That's exactly right. That's
Yeah.
why, you know, you find yourself, this is your soul's journey. And this is your unique soul's journey.
Oh, yeah.
It's my unique soul's journey. And so I want to just give a plug for you of encouragement, and that others that are looking for somebody that is very motivational, very encouraging. That's you. And
thank
that,
you.
yeah, and she's also does some Reiki healing. She's a healer. She's a motivational
Yeah.
speaker, encourager. So you want somebody good to hang out with. It's going to speak some good things to you. She's here for you. So and I'll put a tag on there for her on this video. But we're going to stop at this,
Absolutely.
and we're going to move on to grounding, another part of our tool chest. But we'll be back in a little bit. So come back and join us. Okay. So we'll talk to you later. Have a good one.